Okay, so today is April 3rd. It's a Thursday, 2025. It is 7:32 p.m. and I'm at the park. There's the view. The sun is setting. Nice and peaceful and serene. I just got some verbal writing done. My goal is to write or verbal write, if you will, for about an hour each day until it's done. An hour or more, hour or two, until my book is done. Because I said this was going to be the year, and this is going to be the year. Flat out. The chapter that I was wrapping up was the chapter about D. And how perfect that the other night we pretty much called our situationship quits. Honestly, I just was never cut out for friends with benefits, and I tried to give it a go, but I'm not cut out for it. And since I'm not cut out for it, why pretend to be? Why try and be okay with something that just isn't your style, So when D would bring up threesomes, yeah, and he would bring up the fact that, if or when he got married, that, jokingly saying he would have to have it written in his vows that he could still see me, on occasion, in that way. And I didn't find it funny. I didn't deem it as some type of compliment. It felt disrespectful to me, and even more so because we had discussed that certain things were off limits. If we're gonna do this friends with benefits thing, right? And you already knew initially, I was hopeful that we could try and pursue a relationship, but things happen for a reason, and honestly, logically, I know D and I are just not meant to be. I think my issue has always been holding on to people past their expiration date in my life, and D was no exception. I'm getting better. Oh, okay, that's a call coming through. Nobody wants to call me until I'm doing something. So, like I said, D was no exception. Not only would he bring up the whole thing with the threesome thing, I think he just got so comfortable and so free being overly sexual with me, sending me explicit, content, almost like, stuff you would send your, well, probably not send your male buddy, but stuff that the average woman would be like, we like romance, we like subtleties, we like nasty shit too. Let's not get it twisted, but not just all the time. Men live on Sex Street. You know what I'm saying? They're always thinking about sex. And with women, we think about it often enough, but it's just not, we're not hardwired like men are. So for me to go into a friends with benefit situation with you and lay down the boundaries and the deal breakers and the triggers for me, and you find a way to still talk about that. One of the things was, I was like, no, threesome's not going to happen. I'm not that kind of chick. I don't even want to discuss it. You know what I'm saying? And then 2 was, I don't want to hear about any woman that you may be seeing, that you may be dating. I just would prefer not to hear that. And vice versa. I won't tell you if I'm dating the sun that's getting bright, it's about ready to set. But I'll do the same. I won't bring up anybody that I'm dating or seeing or, you know, talking on the phone. I thought we had an understanding that our time together, whether we were conversing on the phone, if we were talking, texting, because our relationship mainly was just texting, let's be honest. But we agreed that, yeah, our time together is what's being discussed. You and I. You know, we could talk about celebrity stuff in the news, just other people in general. You know, I could talk about, you know, men in general, but not in a personal way that would be, yeah, so, you know, I got a date next week, or, you know, this one guy, let me ask you about this. You know, do men, like it when you know, when you hug up on them, you know, just like certain things, was understood. That's my sister texting me. I'm like, I've been sitting here for over an hour doing verbal writing, phone quiet as hell, and then now it's just, but anyway, because it takes me out of the mode of expression that I'm in, and you know, it's easy to lose your train of thought. Yeah, what was I saying? So I in return respected the boundaries that we laid out. But what Dee was doing, it seems like as more time went on, after he got the whole, okay, she realizes that we're not going to have a relationship. We're cool with that. You know, we're not as compatible as we might have hoped. Cool. But I got her on the friends with benefit bandwagon, and she's cool with us just, you know, having what we have until, you know, we meet other people, and, you know, being really mature about the situation, or so I thought. But it feels like he got too comfortable and was like, you know, starting to press some of the buttons, and certain things was triggering me. It's almost like he got a rise out of bringing up conversation about threesomes, or bringing up the thing about, you know, if I got a wife type of thing. And it was like, at this point, you're playing in my face, because we clearly discussed. It's not a thing about, and he would say, well, were you being jealous, or I didn't think that you would be so sensitive about it. No, it's not that. It's a matter of what we discussed, and a matter of respect. And every time that you bring it up and we discuss that, you know, we're only talking about stuff pertaining to us, you're disrespecting me. And if you're disrespecting me, then that means you don't value, you know, what I'm bringing to the table and what we discussed. And that means that you don't value what we have in our friendship, you know. And then Dee would find a way to try and gaslight me into saying, oh, I didn't think you would react to things so adversely, and I thought we were in a place where we were mature about, you know, what we had and what things were. No, nigga, you just want to stroke your ego at my expense, and that's not cool. You know, it's almost like, you know, everything's going fine, and you know certain things that you can say, I don't want to hear that shit. You know, we had an understanding, and you felt a need to still disregard our agreement and, you know, keep talking about stuff like that. That's just wrong. So needless to say, I fell back from the conversation we were having, and I even told him, I said, you know what, because at that point I almost wanted to cuss him out, like, motherfucker, didn't I say we not finna be talking about that shit? You know what I'm saying? You being a disrespectful motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, I clearly told you that shit was off limits. Why the fuck you playing in my face? Huh? That's what I wanted to say. But bling bling, you know, being a woman of tact and having a certain that sun is sunning, a certain amount of class. I was like, and having growth, and that comes from growing older and, life lessons and being mature about things, I said, no, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm annoyed, and I felt no need to tell him why I was annoyed, because he's a smart man. He should know why I'm annoyed. So I said, I'm going to fall back until my mood changes, because right now my mood is not the best. So I gave it a full 24 hours, circled back, and I laid it all on the line. Thought we had an understanding. We weren't going to be talking about this. You keep bringing that up. Those are triggers for me. Those are deal breakers with what we have going on. And you still choose to do that. It's like, why are you playing in my face? And then I basically told him, I thought I was cut out for this friends with benefit thing, and clearly I'm not. So, because of that, just gonna have to, it is what it is, let it go. And no, we can't be friends afterwards, because friends don't hurt friends. You don't do stuff intentionally. If somebody tells you that you're doing something that bothers them or annoys them, and it's in your ability to stop doing that, if you value that person and their friendship and the relationship you have with that person, you stop doing it, right? Right? So I don't get it, beyond the fact that you still want to just play in my face, and you think, I don't know, you have me where you want me, or you got this really awesome wordplay that you can just, finesse yourself and gaslight me otherwise. And it's just, I'm over it. It hurts me. I've been knowing Dee for over 6 years. But I'm at a point, it's like, I want a relationship with meaning. I do not want to have a piece of a man. I do not want to be the type of woman that it's okay to see me mainly at nighttime and, not really in the daytime. Let's be honest. We're not going to, it's like, if it's friends with benefits, what are our benefits again? What are my benefits? Because you getting laid is definitely a benefit. I guess men could say, well, the woman gets something too. If the sex is good. If the sex is good. And even then, even if it's a friends with benefits situation, no woman wants to feel like an unpaid escort. I said what I said. If it's a friends with benefit, it should be things that are legit benefiting you, the both of you. So if it's a sexual thing and you both are getting that sexual release and all that good stuff, so be it. But, can you help with a bill? Can you take me out every blue moon and stuff? It's almost like we could do the boyfriend, girlfriend, so to speak, treatment, but knowing that that's not what we are, treat a woman with some class and some dignity and some tact. And I just feel like lately Dee had gotten to the point where it was almost like, you're treating me like like I'm on the payroll, like I'm on the sexual payroll of some sort. Like, I do this, and that. So, hey, I should be able to say this is ego. And I'm just over it. I deserve more. Dee said a while ago, from the start, years ago, I never thought you would swipe on me. I never thought somebody like you would want to be with somebody like me, or you would choose me. He also told me I don't deserve you. And it took up until yesterday to realize he was right. So I'm grateful for everything that Dee has taught me, as far as like setting the standard with men higher than I had it previously. Let's be honest. He set the bar much higher as far as how I do desire to be treated, and the kind of man or men that I can command, as far as the caliber of the woman that I am, right? So he showed me that. He also ignited the spark in me to want to travel more and be more, to travel more freely and to be more fearless when traveling. And you know, he gave me the warm and cozy, like, dad experience, like the daddy experience, like what it would have been like to, you know, it sounds, I hope it doesn't sound gross. I hope you get what I'm saying, but it's like that feeling of feeling protected and, you know, heard for the most part. It served its purpose in my life. And like I said, it's gotten to the point where I'm not feeling valued. I'm not feeling respected. It feels like my boundaries are not being respected, and we just can't have that. Because when you know better, you do better. And I know that, yeah, I don't have to tolerate shit like that anymore, and I won't. So the time has come, and you know, I think it's better that we bow out gracefully, gracefully. That is a word. Amicably, yeah, and keep it moving. But no, we can't be friends. And you know, part of me is hopeful that he will circle back once I am very much, you know, over the whole situation and in a better place about things, and be like, yeah, it's done. And that's the thing about me. It takes a lot to get me to the point where I'm done about things, but once I'm done, I'm done. And you know, nobody wants to be lonely because there are no other suitors. You know, I got rid of my Tinder app. It's just a lot of work sorting through men, getting to know men, trusting men, a lot of crazy men taking people's lives, abusive, leeches, parasites, don't have their shit together. Maybe it is time for me to, I've been focusing on myself for this long, for the past few years. I need to continue to do so. Just continue to be my best self, and if it's meant to be, it will be, and if not, learn to accept that. But yeah, life goes on. Good things are happening to me right now.